Cathay CEO John Schlosser told Bloomberg it's business as usual after Air China agreed to spend $800 million raising its stake in the carrier to 30%.
We don't think it's going to mean any big change for Cathay Pacific. We already have a good cooperation with Air China. We have done for 3 years. It's been very good. We get along fine. We like them, they like us. We have some good cooperation on frequent flyer programs, on code sharing on routes. We've got a cargo venture that we've been negotiating. We hope we'll see the light of day before too long. So there's lots of cooperation already on the board.
Air China turned to this deal after failing to seal an agreement with an airline in Shanghai. Let's get analysis from Ali Ma, analyst at Citigroup in Hong Kong. Ali, good morning. Air China is buying a 13% stake from Cathay from Pacific. A strategic move, obviously, on its part, isn't it? The question is, how big an impact will that have on its business?
Well, I think the impact itself is not going to be for 1 day time. This is, I mean, in the midterm, long term, I do believe that Beijing and Hong Kong are going to be the dual hub model for the upcoming Air China Cathay alliance, right? So for the short term, I think, as John has just mentioned, there has been a lot of synergies already between the two, and the 30% stake in Cathay itself, I mean, it's only going to increase the synergy contributions and the social profits contributions to Air China from 17% to 30%. So organic-wise, we do believe synergy exists, but if you ask me from 2010 to 2011 time, how much that could be, and I think external growth would be sort of is already largely done. And so it's in the long term, whether Cathay and Air China, they can fix the current different alliance issues, I mean the different alliance memberships, right, before they can achieve more synergies in the long-haul routes is the key focus here.
So do you see both companies, both airlines addressing those issues successfully?
I think to fix the alliance membership issue, that is going to take a very long time. And as the top executives of both of these two air carriers have recently affirmed that they are not going to change their alliance membership in the short term. But that is one thing they'll have to face.
What about the impact on the ongoing consolidation within the airline industry in China? Will Air China's move expedite the consolidation process?
I think after, 2009 is a very busy year in the airlines merger acquisition. After Shanghai Airlines China Eastern combination and Air China increasing its alignment with Cathay, I think the industry structure is going to be very stable for, let's say, 3-5 years' time.
I'm looking at your call right now. You upgraded Air China to a buy from sell last month. Does the latest development affect your call? Any reason to reassess the price target or the outlook for the company?
I think for Air China, the underlying economy and the organic momentum is indeed very, very strong. Particularly since summer this year, there has been 10 to 15% air ticket price increase in China domestic market, and the international travel is also recovering. Cargo is bottoming. So I do believe for Air China and other Chinese air carriers, they are recovering their earnings and profitability back to 2007 level. So this is still a solid buy recommendation. But in terms of the Cathay alignment, I think for the short term, people would question whether Air China has sort of overpaid for Cathay stake, as that itself is already an 11% premium to Cathay's closing price prior to the share suspension.
So in terms of outlook, in the longer term, it looks pretty good. I mean, as far as you're concerned, but in the immediate future, I mean, some of these companies are releasing their earnings numbers. China Southern and Air China, for instance, due to report their numbers next week. What are you forecasting?
I'm forecasting Air China to make about 2.2 to 2.5 billion RMB interim net profits, and China Southern is going to be largely break even.
Ali, we know that Air China's 6.2 billion Shanghai listed A shares will become tradable today. What are you expecting? Will it sell any of the shares, you think?
I think this is going to be a pretty let's say, considerable share price pressure on Air China's A shares from the floating.
Right. And in terms of Air China starting its Taiwan flights from the end of August, do you see competition for the route intensifying, for instance?
Yes, I do believe Taiwan is going to be a very important tourism destination for Chinese citizens, and intensifying competition is almost unavoidable, as all the PRC and Taiwan air carriers are all currently fighting very fiercely for very treasurable slots resources.
Okay, so watch that space. Ali Ma, Citigroup, thank you for your insights this morning.